Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everybody. Oh, I forgot to turn on the lights. How are you guys doing this morning? Well, yesterday we had quite a wild session. But I think I made a bad call here. Let's go to the charts. I thought, okay, this is good for treasuries. There was the initial reaction and everything. But then something came in and chopped it down, and this morning we are lower. So I did have a long, yeah, I took it off. So I guess, I ate that whole thing. Granted, yeah, man, my throat is terrible at the moment. I traded much larger size on that than I normally do. So, like, if I keep trading bet size, we should probably cancel that out pretty quickly, right? But it was the wrong call. The treasuries are lower this morning, and I'm honestly not entirely sure why. I guess they decide that the whole tariff thing really never mattered to the treasuries anyways. I don't know. S&P 500, they liked it enough. They did actually close the gap, but they're a little bit lower this morning. So yeah, oil coming back down and going lower and back to its downward trend. Gold's looking resurgent again this morning. Copper, really big recovery yesterday. Japanese yen, well, the Japanese yen came back to where it was, basically. And the dollar, too, although the dollar is a slight uptrend the past few days, so I'm a little concerned about that. And Bitcoin also recovering a lot of its losses from over the weekend. Oh shit, you got wiped yesterday? I mean, yeah, I guess you could call it that. It was on my experimentation sim account. So I could just say it doesn't count, right? We could just say over here, filter only with the account. Oops. Oh, that's weird. Count begins with S. Okay. Oh, but then I have no trades. All of those were on the experiment. Some of those should have been on the serious one. Oh, well. But we could call it getting wiped. We could. I think, though, that what I should do is I should continue to trade 10 contracts, huh? I don't know what I've got for today. Let's see here. What do we got for today? Let's go through all of that. Oh. We've got jolts today, huh? Previous reading of 8.098 million. Forecast 8 million. Well, I don't know if the jolts will include like the last 2 weeks, but if it were to include the last 2 weeks, because I think the number of job openings has like cratered in the past month, man. Yesterday I was feeling quite depressed. Not because that trade didn't work out. I honestly shut the stream down and didn't even look at it until this morning. But I'm depressed because when I was looking at the job openings, and I didn't really get a good chance to like submit resumes yesterday because I was watching the kids. But there's just not any good opportunities this week, man. It's terrible. And I continue to feel like that this is going to be still be a problem. Like getting a job right now is like finding a lottery ticket, and it's not likely to change until interest rates come down significantly, and that's not happening. Man, it is really hot in here. Hold on a second. Well, I'm not quite sure what to do. Is it happening because, like, we've been in a polar vortex, now it's not nearly that cold anymore? It says the entryway is 67. How is that? No, the entryway is 70. It's supposed to be 67, and it's not. How is that? That's actually kind of weird. Like, I've been setting it to like try and get really low, and it's not doing it. And so it just continue. I'm gonna be super sweaty and smell all day, and I guess there's really nothing. I guess I could open the window, but then everybody in the house would hear me talking. So. All right. So anyways, I guess the plan for today, though, will be to wait for jolts, huh? We could take a gamble on jolts. Sure. In fact, we can take a gamble here. It's the lower end of the range. We'll see if they break the lows. There is quite a bit of selling here on it, so I think if I take this, I have to anticipate a significant amount of possible adverse excursion before it, in the next 90 minutes. Like, I think that this wave is probably done, but, then it comes in another wave. From r/stock market, the Tesla is the most overvalued stock in history. Is that actually true? I'm not sure. Maybe it is. Let's call it what it is. Tesla is the most overvalued stock in history. It's been fueled by a mix of retail FOMO, media hype, and the cult of Elon Musk, who has masterfully convinced people that Tesla is more than just a car company. But when you strip away the buzzwords, AI, robo-taxis, energy revolution, what's left? A company that sells electric cars, faces increasing competition, has declining margins, and still can't meet the production and tech promises it made years ago. Tesla's fundamentals don't justify its... Oh man, did they really just not fill me there? I don't know if I want to play this game. I'll just do that. Because I want to read this and I don't want to have to sit and watch it there and freak out about it. Every little tick, right? All right. Tesla's fundamentals don't justify its valuation. Other automakers are rapidly catching up. Yet Tesla shareholders continue to act as if the company is untouchable, pricing in decades of hypothetical dominance that looks less likely by the day. Why am I having a hard time reading? Focus, Seth. Meanwhile, Musk's erratic leadership, whether it's Twitter meltdown, impulsive business decisions, or outright lies about self-driving timelines, gets excused time and time again. And here's the real problem. Tesla shareholders are complicit. They don't just tolerate Musk's narcissism, they enable it. Every stock split, every overpromised and undervalued product, every blatant SEC violation. Investors eat it up because they've built their financial futures on the myth of Musk's genius. They defend him like a prophet, ignoring reality as long as the stock price keeps getting them feeling smart. The question isn't if reality will catch up, it's when, and when it does, Tesla's valuation will go down as one of the biggest bubbles in market history. So I think that this guy is a little bit too caught up on, that he thinks Elon Musk is a narcissist or anything like that. I think that Elon Musk seems to understand that the stock price is not really dependent necessarily on the fundamentals and is more about people buying and selling. And he has basically crafted everything to be in line with that. And I think he's the first CEO I've seen that really played into that fully. I mean, like, everybody's always kind of been toying with it, but Elon Musk, he really went all in with it, And yeah. So I don't like the word bubble because bubble kind of implies that the fundamental value, that price should come back to the fundamental value, and that's not necessarily true, right? But I think probably there's a good chance that Tesla's valuation or stock price comes down significantly. Just like I've been saying for years that I think that Apple is overvalued. That Apple will come down eventually. I don't know, man. When you keep looking at this, it's just such a contradiction in the larger market that we have like a few stocks dominating everything, right? And if those stocks start to fall, and I think that there's a lot of reasons why that could start to happen, the market just completely falls apart. And yet everything that we're seeing kind of suggests that the market should be able to keep trucking along, And I tell you what, there's a lot of level 2 changes happening. This seems like a pretty active market. So one of the things I'm seeing yesterday, Donald Trump having meetings with Mexico and China, and them coming out and saying that they have deals to delay tariffs for a month. This kind of looks planned to me. Remember there was this story that like the tariffs were actually going to be delayed a month, and then the administration was like, no, they're actually going in. It kind of feels like this was always like a, no, you have to like, kneel first and make a, have a big media story about it and everything before we can delay them a month. That's really what it looks like happened to me. Some people are saying that nothing changed. I do think there were some of the things that Canada did that were like they were already sending more border security, right? I don't know if there was a border czar before though. Or no, sorry, a fentanyl czar. So I think there maybe was some changes. But weren't those changes kind of in place only because of Donald Trump in the first place? I don't think it really matters though. I think that what matters is like the narrative and the whole thing that like the other leaders knelt and expressed fealty towards, you know. I think for Donald Trump it is a political victory, not a huge one, but a small political victory. And he probably intends on using that and then turning around and trying to swing it against China. That's my guess. So we'll see. Perhaps that's why the treasury market is not really rising after this, because they realize that the real trade war is with China, maybe? I don't know. It has to be that because, like, Canada in particular, is we don't get enough trade from Canada to really affect interest rates so much, you know, to create enough inflation that interest rates would be sensitive to it. Let's see our video yesterday. Did you guys watch the video about the inventory cost basis? By the way, it's doing it again today. Yep. 1, 2. So it seems like we might brush up into that at 25 again if we are able to get back up there. I think if we were able to get up there, though, perhaps Spires would take control, but I'm not expecting that right now. I'm kind of expecting this to be continued selling until perhaps jolts. Hold on a second, I'll be right back. Your tick replay data isn't right still? So does it still give you the error like no you know, like There's that, what is it? When you don't, there's nothing in the array. So I start to get really weary, and I get this feeling that like the market knows what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get long 22. They don't want to fill that. I'm not trying to say that the market is actually, noticing me and trying to do stuff. What I'm saying is that must mean that I'm trying to get involved in a spot that is too significant, The delta data reads incorrectly, so you're saying that when you look at your cumulative delta, it's just completely wrong? That's weird. Oh, look, it filled. Show me a picture of it. Well, I'm interested to see what it shows that you so immediately know that it's dead wrong. I went to go and look at my schedule, but I think that my wife needs to redraw the calendar thing. It's already another month. Okay, I'm going to send you a screenshot of a 5-minute chart without tick replay on and one with a 1-minute chart with it on. Okay. One of the things is I saw a lot of people are like, oh, use different websites. So I was like using different websites and they had the same jobs, but now I'm just getting spam from those other websites. So I'm looking through my email and I'm just like frustrated. Oh, there's they're ticking into the low. Okay, here we go. Here he posts a picture. So that's cumulative delta? It looks like you got a bunch of other things on it, yeah? Okay, it's another delta that sorts by size. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is, well, okay, so first of all, yours definitely looks different from mine. No, let's do it this way. There we go. I guess I need to move it over like this. Because mine shows cumulative delta has been falling pretty much all night. And that's not what yours shows. I also see they are both going down over the most recent time period. Well, mine doesn't the one that I have on right now, I don't think it resets ever. So the absolute number is going to be different. But like when I look at this one, so I see negative 3604, and this one I see negative 3228. Oh no, I see. 36 versus 32,000. Okay. But that might just be the one resets and that doesn't. Where's my thing? But what you're unhappy about is this right here is clearly different from this right here. Oh, there's ZT charts. Oh, well, that doesn't help. What does it look like on ZN? Are you not having any problems with ZN? Or are you just focused on ZT? I'm wondering. I'm wondering if those narrow cases, the same thing happens on ZN. Show me on ZN. Just show it to me on a 1 minute on ZN. Take replay. I use view up in your cost basis to understand which side the market tends to move in terms of liquidity. Yeah, so when I was doing backtesting, I did a lot of interesting stuff about where the cost basis lines were in relation to the VWAP lines, because in some respects you could kind of think of them as like sellers VWAP, buyers VWAP, right? But the results of those tests were inconclusive. Something that you will see though, and somebody was asking me about this yesterday. I don't think that this is, well, okay, maybe this is a good example. So like when you get a move up like this, for instance, like it's almost all market buying, right? So this is going to change the cost basis of these two differently, essentially. You can get some situations where like it seems like, okay, so like right here, for instance, where so for that's the dotted line. We want one where this one changes and this one doesn't. Oh, okay. Well, in this instance, you can see that the seller's cost basis like went down considerably. I might have some things mixed up here in my mind. To be honest with you, it's been years since I programmed it, so some of the details escape me sometimes. Somebody was asking me, oh, can you make it like a rolling window instead? And I was thinking about it. I was like, well, I don't know specifically with the code because it's been so long, but something tells me that that would be really, really hard. So when you look at this one, the thing that I'm confused is why did the cost basis for the sellers go down there? Shouldn't it be going up? maybe I have these backwards. Maybe this blue line is actually, maybe this blue line should actually be seller's cost basis, because seller's cost basis should, I don't know. I've been through that before. I seem to recall something about that. But you can see here on this one, like the buyer side inventory is going down. Yes, because they take profits on that as it goes up. So that's correct. Anyways, you can kind of get some situations where like only one side of the cost basis really makes sense because, you know, there's been such an imbalance going this way that it's almost certainly, like if we're going up and up and up and up and up and up and you're market making, then like you have short inventory, you just do, you know? So there are some situations where only one of these makes sense. and kind of looking at where the VWAP is in relation to them might be one way of saying this is actually the correct one, you know? Okay, let's see. No, that looks correct to me. The custom delta indicator didn't outright work, and the custom one is just outright wrong. I don't think so. Like, honestly, it's doing the right thing. I think that you are just getting caught up on the absolute number. Like, the absolute number is not going to be... There's too many things that affect the absolute number that, like, even between machines, they're probably going to be slightly different. The only way that you would be able to get them to be exactly the same is if you had MBO data. And yours number, you're at negative 30. Well, mine is negative 131 because mine like never resets on the chart. So that's the difference between those. But like the shape of the line, they look the same. Yeah, it's close enough. And you have, or oh, those are moving averages that you have on the chart. But what happens when you put the inventory cost basis on that? Does the cost basis draw lines? Wow, that came back so hard. I probably should have put that fill a little bit higher. This chart right here is Uzi's chart. No, it doesn't work at all. Okay. And when it doesn't work at all, what does it spit out an error? Like, there's something weird going on, right? It's just trying to determine where exactly the problem is. It's probably a missing data spot part. So then the question is, why is that happening? Because I'll get things all the time where like, well, like I have it right now. So over here, oh, the cost basis does work. Okay, like here's my ES chart. So you see the sim delta. Oh, I should switch that to my delta, but whatever. Does this one not have tick replay turned on? No, it has tick replay turned on. It's just like the data provider did not provide me the delta right? Cost basis is probably fine, but from this point, it will reset at the start of session, so I'm hesitant to screw with it. The delta output being so yeah, and when you say the output, you're talking about just the outright number, right? I mean, the thing that's weird with the one that you're showing is that they were off by like tens of thousands, right? That's not right. That kind of says to me that they're starting to count it from different spots. Because it would be normal. My custom delta indicator also shouldn't just not work, yeah. Yeah, it's just a line display. So, well, but it comes back to like the delta indicator itself, right? So let's review what it's doing, right? It's coming in, and for every order, it looks at the price that order was executed at compared to the current best bid, best ask. And it determines which, whether it's a buy or a sell based on that. So if we come in right now and there's an order at 23, then we can assume that that was a market buy because it was going up against the best bid. Okay. Well, you can get this situation where like the best bid, best ask is rapidly changing because they're like flickering back and forth across that one price. Like people are putting offers there and then people are putting bids there and it like flickers between it really quickly, right? And then any market orders that go through there, whether they are considered market buy or market sell, kind of depends on how in sync those market orders are with the level 2 changes. And that's where market by order data becomes useful because then you can very conclusively determine what happened. So like under normal circumstances, it can be different by as much as 10 to 20%. It just kind of depends on how much of that flickery thing is happening. And in a strong trend, I find that can happen a lot, right? But I'm wondering if that sort of a thing is more common in ZT, making the cumulative delta significantly less accurate in ZT. You get what I mean? Oh, okay. So what was that 22? I'm just kind of wondering if we take another step lower if I want to try this again. I don't necessarily have to have my order there at 21, but I guess I might as well. Significant differences in delta values with pick replay versus not are similar across instruments. It was always so little I wouldn't notice it if it was there at all, but it's big enough for me to notice. So like, what is it in a percentage terms? Did I break my own rule of stop? Are you talking about just now? Or are you talking about yesterday? Because yesterday is kind of, I don't know. So, well, I'll wait and see what I'll talk about yesterday, anyways. But I'm before I start yapping yesterday. Okay, so let me tell you what I was doing yesterday. Was I will sometimes try and like what is the word here? scale. There we go. Yes. So sometimes I'm scaling into a position. It's like I know that there's a certain amount of volatility in there, and I don't know if this particular place is particularly great. So like I can take some contracts here, and if I'm lucky enough, I can take some contracts here. And when that happens, then what I often try to do is take those extra contracts off at, just 1 or 2 prices higher than where I got in on the original position, so that I have just a tiny little bit of profit baked into it. But essentially what I'm trying to do, and there's a couple of different ways of doing this, and some are more degenerate than others, but it was a degenerate thing. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get here. You can see this 108.22 is blue. So that says I have a long with an average position from 22. Okay. But I can take sequential profits too. So these numbers right here can be different. So I can have like my average price be here at 22, which basically means that I'm making money above and I'm losing money below. But I could have profit baked in. So I could have these numbers be blue. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get that 0 point, my break-even line, like outside of the range of the current day's range, essentially. So if you think about it with my cost basis indicator, right? I'm basically, I want my break-even point to be way out there, essentially. So in that case, the order that you saw me put out there, which by the way, I'm so mad about because, I put it there and I left it. If I had been babysitting it, I would have gotten it filled. I would have brought it down 1 tick because the cost basis came down by 1 tick. If I had brought it down by 1 tick, I think it would have been filled. Anyways, but then I was going to let that ride. So in that particular case, it was kind of more of like the amount of time. Like if we came in this morning and we were higher, I might take the profit on it, I might not. But then I would decide, okay, am I going to hold it for another day or something like that, right? So that's what I was doing. So when you saw that limit order, that was only taking like 3 contracts of 8 off. And then I was going to let the other 5 ride. But it didn't work. But it does result in a thing where, because I didn't have a stop set underneath of here and all of these other things, if you make an absolute bad call, that is to say that you get a trend against you, you do take a bigger loser than a winner for sure. So it is a degenerate thing. And the idea with it is that you should only be in the degenerate position for a short period. So I think I kind of screwed it up yesterday. I think this is where managing it with 3 contracts, it seems like it's been okay. But now if I go to like 10 to 15 contracts, it's, I'm screwing up. So we'll see. Like what I've done here has worked out, but I did something degenerate. Right? I took 10 contracts here. It went against me. I added 10 contracts and then, so I doubled down essentially. You're right. The pattern of the delta is the same. The absolute values are different by 100%. Yeah, that's kind of weird. So then the question would be, where are they at 0? Are they both at 0 at the same place? Like you go to the beginning of the session and they're both 0 in the same place? Ooh, I think I know what's going on. Oh gosh, this is so funny. Okay. It's basically not resetting. One is resetting and one is not. Okay. So that is not what I was thinking you were going to say, but it could be related. Okay, so I have a question. Is one set to update on each tick, and one is set to update on bar close? Are they both set to the same calculate? It's not resetting on tick replay. Okay. Oh, okay. I think I might know what's causing that too. Because I dealt with that one. Okay, what? Something that happens that's really weird is if you inherit from an indicator, and I'm having such a hard time speaking today. I'm so sorry, guys. I think yesterday, I just had a really hard day, like thinking about getting a job and feeling like that there's really nothing. All I can do is control my output, and I'm kind of at the mercy of the markets, and I'm not sure if there's anything I can do about it. And if a day job is not coming, then the only other thing that I can do is try and build my own businesses. And we're not having much luck scaling this business up to the level that we need. And yeah, I could make my own platform, borrow money, all of these sorts of things, but interest rates are so high that doesn't really make much sense to do. That would probably be a bad play. So the starting your own business thing kind of gets screwed over by interest rates being high too. And and then when I'm watching the kids, so I don't really have anything else to do but watch kids and be frustrated by the kids and frustrated that I don't have a job. And, it really, I don't want to say depression per se, because I feel like that depression is a persistent thing. But I do think that I'm going into some of those chemical modes, and it'll my head will hurt. My head will hurt at the end of the day. And I was definitely feeling that yesterday. And so I think that it might be affecting me today, where it's the synapses are firing. I'm having a hard time talking. I'm having a hard time remembering the names of things and stuff. Right? It might be. It's daunting. Yeah, it is. A part of what really triggered me yesterday too was finding out that there's 3,000 more people coming from Microsoft, right? It's welcome to the shit show, boys. Oh my gosh. Anyways. Okay, so something that can happen is that there's a session iterator, right? So you use the session iterator to kind of do things about trying to tell what's going on with that session. And it's an object that usually gets put in an instance variable of your indicator. Okay. And when you try and inherit, because NinjaTrader indicators don't properly deal with inheritance, the session iterator doesn't work properly if it's in a base class, essentially. So what happens is you're supposed to be resetting the session, right? It will say in fact, I can show you a piece of code, I think. I'll just use my cumulative delta 2 because this one's the simplest, cleanest version of it. Okay, so you see here, there's a session. Let's make it super big. Okay. the session iterator. So I have a session iterator instance variable. I should probably have an underscore at the beginning of it so you know it's an instance variable. That's kind of the convention in C#, but I wasn't following that back then. And then down here, we do this thing where we say, okay, session iterator, get trading day based on, get the trading day of the previous bar, get the trading day of the current bar, and then if they are not equal to each other, right? If they don't equal each other, then that means that we reset the delta, and that's how things get reset, right? So, theoretically, if it's that problem, the way that we would test for that is add create a chart with take replay. I always like to make a new chart just to like isolate the variables. You know what I mean? Like reduce the number of things that could be different. Create a new chart, add tick replay to it, then add your indicator that has the custom with the filter and all of that stuff, and then just add their straight indicator onto it and see if they're resetting correct, if they're resetting in the same place. And if they're not, then you would get that issue where your child indicator that's inheriting from it doesn't reset. Sportsbook chips usually not be, well, there's sim trades, so don't worry about it. Using my own delta indicator, and I can't use any assessed charting indicators because it's conflicting. So what do you mean by it's conflicting? Trading ZN with $1 million using 2% risk can take 10 losses? Okay. I think you're overreacting. It's probably fog from die. Oh, the die's probably not been super great either, but I mean Utah, yes. I think if you're doing 2% every time, that might be true. But if you're using, if every loss is $1,000, then you should be able to lose 100 times, right? Wait, why are you bringing that up? Anyways. I'm still waiting for Uzi to do that test to see if that worked, if that did it. I don't know, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out so far. I do kind of wish when I took the initial double down, I was only taking it one tick because I just wanted my cost basis to be at 22 instead. But I probably could have put it at the seller's cost basis and gotten away with it. Same indicator, but which indicator? Are you using NinjaTrader's indicator? I put a horizontal line at 0 on the delta. Yeah, see, you got... Well, I mean, this one makes sense because it shouldn't, I don't know if that really tells us anything. Okay, so the top is NinjaTrader 8's and the bottom is mine. Yeah. So they're doing the same thing, aren't they? Just sort of resetting at the same time. Wait. This one is with it off? No, how can this be with it off? Because if tick replay is off, it shouldn't be doing any historical. You have to have it backwards. Because this one, cumulative delta flat until like when you turned on the indicator, that's what you should see. Oh, except for that, the Ninja Traders one deals with it. Anyways. That's weird. It gets tiresome how stupid you think. Well, it's not that I think you're stupid, Uzi. Even the smartest people, we make those mistakes, right? Okay, so he's pretty confident that this one is off and this one is on. So they are resetting at the same time. The numbers are definitely different, though. Oh, no. 13, 14, 15, 42. Yeah, there's something that their indicators are able to do to like still show the thing even if you have tick replay turned off, and I don't know how they're doing it. I think they're cheating or something. I think that they're like going out and pulling it historically and not telling you. Anyways, this difference right here. So the only thing is on your cumulative delta line, you need to override the format price because it's showing it to you in terms of you know, the main charts unit, which is kind of funky. But it says that it's negative 1314, and this one says that it's negative 15242. Oh, maybe it is like wildly off. Oh, except for that might not be the right one. No, oh yeah, don't compare them side by side. Yeah, you're saying that this and this don't match. That's true too. Well, actually, so let's look at it from that perspective. I was kind of more interested in trying to detect if there's something about your indicator that was playing into this. But, well, that's kind of interesting, actually. Yeah, this one's just not resetting. Oh, yeah, sorry. I should be clear in Uzi. There is at least one error with the Ninja Traders cumulative delta that I know of. So, and it could have to do with this. It could have to do with this. Can I duplicate it? Let's see if I can duplicate. Oh, I can't duplicate because I don't have their cumulative delta indicator. The session iterator thing. Well, but if this is their cumulative delta and their cumulative delta, that does not explain that difference. That what would explain the difference in this one is if you were having that issue, then this one would reset and this one wouldn't. But that's not what's happening. So I don't think that it's that bug. I've run into that in my own indicators though, and it was like the most maddening thing to figure out. That I had to put the session iterator and all of that session iterator kind of logic in every class. I couldn't put it in the base class because the session iterator from the base class did not work appropriately because the session iterator is doing some sort of weird reflection. I'm getting too technical, sorry. It's not that error. So you're running into a different error, which is that it does not reset the session when tick replay is turned on. I'm still kind of stuck at, though, why do you get that if tick replay is turned on that chart? What's with that? What's causing that? That seems like a bigger issue. Why is that? Does the indicator doesn't spit out an error when that happens either, right? Oh, no. It's because, yeah, tick replay is turned off. Oh, well, that's so interesting. Oh, did I already get myself mixed up? This is on. This is off. I need to just like keep that written on there. Okay, so with tick replay on, your indicator doesn't start drawing until here. Okay, so on this chart, does anything change if you tell it reload all historical data? Is that what it's called? It's right click, reload all historical data, yeah, or Control Shift R, and nothing changes. Gotta check that one. No changes. And nothing in the Ninja script output window. How is that possible? It's definitely fishy, isn't it? By the way, they're at the buyer cost basis here, so we'll see if the buyers take control now. Still got 30 minutes to the jolts. Nothing in the output. That is really perplexing. Can you send me the indicator? Maybe when I look at the code, there will be something in the code that is obviously problematic to me. That is weird. See, this right here, that looks to me like that's a bug in the NinjaTrader indicator. That with tick replay turned on. I didn't ask. Are these charts calculate on each tick or on bar close? Yeah, it's the NinjaTrader 8.1. Well, but I know why NinjaTrader 8.1 does things like that. It is on each tick. Yeah. So, like, that's not the default, is it? I don't recall. Okay, let me explain something to you. This is so. It on each tick is the default for the delta. I don't completely remember why they have this problem, but or what the details of how it expressed itself in cumulative delta, but I was able to duplicate it. I think that you duplicated it for me, but you probably just forgot. So let me explain this. Okay. I'll need a pen. Let's move this over here. Okay, so there is on market data, and then there is on our update. Okay, so in on market data, we sign orders. Okay. In on bar update, we set values. Okay. So those that don't know any better would assume, okay, if I set it to on each tick, then what should happen is an order will come in, it will sign the order, then in my on bar update, I will look at the, this gets put into an instance variable, underscore delta or whatever, right? And then I will look at that delta and set value of 0. Right? So we think new order hits, on market data will run, then on bar update will run. That's what we think happens, right? Wrong. That's not what happens. On bar update gets called first. So what happens is on bar update gets called, nothing's different. So if we have this, so if we're doing it like on the first bar, okay? So it starts at 0. Okay? Then the first thing comes in. So let's say this is your instance variable, underscore delta, and here's value. So 0. Okay, so they start out at 0. Okay, new order. Okay, we're gonna come through. It's gonna run value of 0 first, and this is still 0. And then it's gonna sign the order flow and it's gonna say 1. Right? So then when another new order comes over, now it's going to take the value from the underscore delta from the one previous, and it's not like, let's say that this is 3, then this one's going to be 4, right? And so what ends up happening is that your indicator, or the value that the indicator is spitting out to you on the chart, is always 1 tick behind. It's always 1 tick behind. Kind of annoying. For cumulative delta, it's something that like you wouldn't notice unless you had it set to on bar update on bar close. If you calculate to on bar close, then the market data events all get called first, and then you get the on bar update, and it works correctly, right? So essentially, writing a bit of code that works with the different calculate methods and having the same piece of code work on both of them is kind of like ends up being a mess and is like not worth doing. So like in my indicators, I fixed that and I don't think that they did in NinjaTrader. So what could happen is like the code to reset it is in the on-bar update and it doesn't get called. So here's a test. Here's a test for you, Uzi. Make one chart. Do the same thing that you just had, except for well, you don't have to put your indicator on it. But you know, it's on the left and right. Instead of the difference being one has tick replay on and one doesn't, have them both be on tick replay, but have one be calculate on bar close and one calculate on each tick. And that would verify for us if it's that bug. Because I've gotten that issue has resulted on some of my indicators not resetting when they're supposed to. Okay, so let me explain another thing. So you got on bar update. What actually happens in on-bar update is a little bit more complicated than when we drew out before. We check for session change. Right? And then we do all this stuff, right? Okay, so the difference between calculate on each bar and on each tick, no difference. Oh man, I really wish that I had my setup working with the NinjaTrader cumulative delta, because that's weird. Okay, but wait, do you have the latest version? I don't know if I gave it to you. Hold on. Let's do this. Yeah, it's this one, 3322. Okay. So here's what we should do. Uninstall my indicators, reinstall them with 3322. And in that, there is a cumulative delta. My cumulative delta. And let's see if we get the same behavior with my cumulative delta. It's a cumulative delta that does like all of the caching and stuff. USD news, should I buy or sell? I'm not familiar with any breaking news. The treasuries sure are breaking out in a strong way. Oh, Trump's order on Iran directs the U.S. Treasury Secretary to impose maximum economic pressure on Iran, including sanctions and enforcement mechanisms on those violating existing sanctions. I don't know if that's what's driving the dollar at the moment, but okay. It's worth noting for sure. So I'm going to take note of this. What was it? 361. I don't know. If I want to erase the loss, I think I have to hold it further than that, but. So I'm just gonna go in, try and duplicate this bug on my own here. Why not trade ZN? I have a sim trade in ZN. Oh, okay. I just discovered your channel yesterday and I'm making the transition from TradingView and PineScript to NinjaTrader and NinjaScript. Okay. No, I'm not up 2,500 live. Where did you get that from? What happened to the camera? Oh, I minimized it. I'm sorry. There we go. I have to put the other window on top of it, not minimize it. So I should trade live? Yeah, maybe. I had 10 contracts. I had a $5,000 account. Goal is to convert PineScript strategies to NinjaScript. Shouldn't be too hard. And they tend to be, once you understand the way that the NinjaTrader works, converting between them isn't terribly difficult. Okay, so what was I going to do? I was going to add my cumulative, not the advanced one, just my cumulative delta. And for the sake of simplicity, I am not going to load and save cache data because I don't want that like going into the folder. So wherever the tick replay starts, the delta is value is 0. That I figured out what it's doing. Okay. So are you saying it starts at 0 at the very beginning of the chart? Well, I'm a little concerned here. I added my indicator to it and it's stalling. I think that might have crashed that chart. Treating the tick data series as an entire session. Yeah. It seems like they've got something messed up with their detecting the session change for sure. But then the question is that limited to just you? Or is that a larger problem? Okay. Oh, I screwed up. Reset delta on session. Okay. Oh, you know why it's taking so long is because I have the data series set to be like 30 days. This is going to take. And then the first thing I'm going to do is right click and change it to 2 days. Make it faster. So we haven't completely washed out all of the selling from earlier in cumulative deltas. So I'm a little bit like there should be trap traders here at this point, right? I don't know if that matters in this situation. My plan was to hold it for the jolts, right? Oh, it'll be super sad if the jolts eliminates all of my profits, right? Totally possible. Who was it that was saying, oh, you should just take the, this is degenerate. I really don't know if we could do this a live account. Like I get away with it for a while, but doing what I did, it can cause you to blow up. Okay, it finished. The data series is 90 days is gonna take forever. Let's just change it to 3. There we go. Okay. So now I should get, but it's not resetting on session, is it? 0. Right here. Show trading hours break line. Make it like a dotted white line. It's not doing it.
Block sell.
How did I never notice that before? So my indicator has the same bug. Hey now, yeah. Right? And I have the indicator set to calculate on each tick. I just wonder on bar close. That is one thing to check. Yeah, I have it kind of set like it works, but it tells you shouldn't do it. You should run it on each tick. Okay. How effective is NinjaTrader's strategy optimizer? Well, so all it does is allow you to run through all of the different possible parameters that you can stick in. Right? So they have this sort of like algorithmic thing, but I don't know if that really works. The problem that you run into with those sorts of things is that you're just like always overfitting. Right? So you got to be careful with those sorts of things. You know, once you get into something that's got like 4 different parameters and you're, you know, I find that hurts you. So the thing that you got to deal with first is you convert it over to NinjaTrader. The NinjaTrader backtester works a little bit different, and you might find some places where the trading view backtester was giving you an incorrect view of how it's going to perform. And then you're going to like try and trade it live on a sim account. You know, I would always say trade it live on a sim account first. Yeah, Pedro, I can see you. But there's just a lot of questions. Anyways, when you run it live, you might find that the orders that it submits and the prices that it gets are slightly different from the back tests as well. And so then you might find more. So you got a long road ahead of you. Like it's super common. You do it on a prop firm. Well, okay. It's super common for people to do a back test in TradingView and think that it's like a really great strategy, and then it's not actually working. Doesn't convert to live. And that could be because you've found a way to fool the back tester. It could be just because you have some sort of data snooping bias in there. So I think in this indicator I have some debugging. Let's see if I do or not. Oh. Oh. Do I not have the reset in there? Manage. Oh, well, there's manage session. Where do I call that? Oh, take on new bar. Yeah. Pedro, it's been a long time since. Yeah, I remember you. It has been a long time, hasn't it? It's been like a year or two. My strategies are absolute dogs when it comes to FOMC meeting. Oh, that's interesting. So you can get that specific about it. How much time do we have till the news? Possible second leg of a meta order, says Octavius. Yeah, well, I kind of suspect that they're doing what I did, which is front running the Jolts. I think that Jolts could come in and really surprise people. I just my own experience in the job market says that the number of openings in the job market has declined significantly, and that we are the job market is really much worse than the market realizes. I don't know if you're doing it like based on, okay, what happens on FOMC day. First, it would be hard to get enough data samples to really get a statistically significant test, you know. But then also, I like if you're just based on price, you know, technicals, probably it's just a coincidence. Like they shouldn't be really related. Well, they're pushing. They're continuing to push on. By the way, I didn't know. Remember earlier it was like the dollar. Somebody was saying the dollar is moving. What's going on? And I did note that there was like sanctions on Iran, but I should have noted that oil is just like taking off on that. So you're only going back. Well, I would always try and do it at least 5. I've found that it doesn't really take that much time to do a 5-year back test. You might as well start there. It's good to do it like 1 year for debugging, maybe 1 year for training, then 5-year back test for test. Okay, Trade Secretary Navarro is speaking at the moment. Hmm. Hmm. That's interesting. Okay. Time to pay attention, Seth. Here they come. Woo, yeah, baby. 7.6 versus an expected 8. Well, they blew through 109. Okay, so I think I got to be careful here because there was a lot of front running of that, right? Did you work for a head? Nope. I worked for a bank, but only on the technology side. So we got a lot of bank knowledge, but not the super secret quant knowledge per se. Honestly, though, I think a lot of the things that they're doing at, the quants are doing is not actually that mystical. Okay, so it's definitely coming back here. So I was thinking I could take 5 contracts off, or should I try and hold it? But it's too late. Nice catch on that. Yeah, it was a good call, wasn't it? It was way better than the call yesterday, right? That the trade deal should cause interest rates to lower. Well, 7.6, 400,000 job miss, I think is pretty significant. So I bet you if you looked at that from like how many people are unemployed in the tech sector versus how many jobs are available in the tech sector, you would see how dire it really is. Like, I really think that we're in like a 10-to-1 ratio or something like that. Like it seems like for every job there's hundreds of people applying. Because the layoffs at the big tech companies really have been that impactful and massive. Well, to tell you what, the S&P 500 is really liking that. But Navarro is speaking, so Navarro's talking about, Europe and they won't buy our cars and things like that. Can you give me a good... Well, I have a couple of videos here on this channel. You can go to my main channel page and there's a Ninja Script video series. And it gives you the basic things to get started. If you're not programmed before, then you're probably going to have to do some your own learning in C#. But that should give you enough to like look at somebody else's indicator and like make small changes to it and things like that. Okay, so kind of balanced out here. Why do I have this? Oh, this was for like stream recordings. There was an oil. I don't need that anymore. Oh, that was the correlation test. So of course, right now it would say no because we're in a huge trend. Cool. Is it this one? Here it is. Is this one? Okay, and the output window. Oops. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay. Wait a second. When does ZN close? The same time as everything else? But there is a pit session close 1 hour before the equities close. And that's when like most of the volume happens. I want to make a trading bot. Is it worth it? Probably not. What do you charge for code review? Nothing. I'll take a look at it. So, so the thing that I find funny, or I'm kind of going like, well, hold on, wait a second, what's going on here, is that every time that it looks at it, it's saying that the previous bars session and the current bars session are the same. So there's never one where this says 03. See, it goes from 0303 to 0404, when really this one should be 0304. But I can see that it loads the file anyways. It loads the file anyways. So number one, didn't I have that turned off? It's still loading the cache data for some reason. So that's weird. But then it does detect the caching part detects the session change. That's curious. That's really curious. I'm a little frustrated now because I think I know why mine is doing it, and it's probably a different reason from why Ninja Traders is doing it. So it doesn't explain what the deal is with Ninja Trader. Oh, man. Yeah, open it twice, huh? I keep having this nightmare that we're stuck at 109 evens for weeks. It definitely looks like there was maybe some profit taking there, right? Like profits before that and stops after that, and then it comes and it gets pinned to the hole. I think I can hold it though. Okay, so there was a bunch of movement there. I don't know if it had something to do with what something Peter Navarro said. Call was she scheduled to happen soon? Oh my gosh, I have all this backwards now. I don't know. I think that the ES is okay so far. Like that one. Oh, that's interesting. Oops. Oops. Broke it. I do find it a little bit curious. It seems like that we're having problems getting into yesterday's the thick of yesterday's action, right? Like this was like, okay, the bottom end of the range, and now we're coming back into the bottom of that end of that range, and like there's like profit taking, I guess. Is it profit taking? Maybe. Of it taking at 109. But it could be. I mean, the cumulative delta has been declining since that. So it feels to me like profit taking, but it could also be possible defense. Like, I don't know. I just have to wait it out. I kind of feel like that we should go higher, but I have room to work with it, right? So I don't know if there's a way to do this without. Yeah. Back to 109 though. A little bit of volume with it too. I should probably focus on that instead of trying to fix this bug. Oops. So I made a little bit too much of an oops here. Hold on. I'll fix this. Okay. Save all my work. It seems easier to read order flow on Z. Yes, it is. Really, it's easier to read order flow on a really thick instrument. It's easier to read order flow on an instrument that doesn't have a lot of derivatives. So reading order flow is probably the most difficult on ES. Both because it is fast. Well, actually, I guess NQ. Because it is fast and because there is like a lot of derivatives in flow. It itself is a derivative in So like the things that are going to bring the flows into ES are extremely complicated and changing every second. So trying to make a play from the order flow on a really short time frame is kind of hard. You really have to have a more complete understanding of the market. Like in the treasuries, I have to worry about correlations, like correlation with the Japanese yen and other currencies, correlate or the spread. I don't want to say correlations, but the spread, the difference between ZB and ZN, and maybe they're buying ZN not because they want to buy the treasuries outright, but because of the spread. Okay, so those are like the two main things that you have to factor into your order flow. But in ES, there's like a trillion of those things, right? There's all of the individual stocks. There's the options activity. There's just so much. So it's really hard to read order flow in ES. Cumulative delta in price will diverge, and it's like, who knows why? Could be a dozen reasons why. You think the trade is done? I mean, for the original basis of the trade, you are kind of right. Or at least I should have taken 5 off. But I was trying to, you know, I'm kind of revenge trading a little bit. Like, I got to make more than the last one lost, right? Copper's really taking off. Oil's taking off. Copper's taking off. This is all very interesting. But the deltas, I don't like the deltas. That does make me think I should probably... No, this isn't the trade from yesterday. The trade from yesterday, I closed at a loss. I woke up this morning, wasn't doing what I wanted, bailed on it. And then I immediately turned around and was like, oh, well, I think that the trade we got for today is a long. So I did that. Wait, what? That's a little bit weird. See what's happening? When I do it there, the session iterator is working correctly. And then when I come into this sub method, it's wrong. So it's like the session iterator can't be used twice in the same bar. It stops working correctly. Well, in terms of dealing with this, the optimal thing would have been to get out a little bit at 09 evens. It looks pretty quiet here. I think that I can continue to kind of bide my time on an exit. Hmm. When I get into these kind of weird things with these indicators, this is where I'm like, I want to make my own platform, because these are issues with the way that NinjaTrader works. That I don't think that anybody ever did anything complicated enough to realize the issues with the way that they set up their framework. It probably is, though, the issue with their session iterator. I love how concerned you are for me, Ao. I love your brother. But we're being degenerates today. This is a degenerate trade. Stop trying to get me to do the responsible thing and take the... You see? Like, the responsible thing would be to explain to Chad why, there's not much of a point in telling us what he's making right now and all of those things. But today we're just playing into it. Let's see what he gets. We'll let him go for a month and see what happens. Really what this is really all about is that I, by virtue of my current job situation and all of that, am incredibly long treasuries. And I just really need interest rates to come down. That's what this is really about. Why do interest rates need to come down? Because there's not tech jobs. There's not enough tech jobs because interest rates are too high. Was that the most succinct way of putting it? In order for me to get a job, there needs to be more tech jobs, which means that we need lower interest rates so that they can borrow more money and create more tech jobs. Want to make $50? Not really. Some trade on the spoos you're gonna give me or something. Not a Caddyshack fan. No, don't. I've seen that maybe once. I don't remember anything about that movie. And maybe I'll put it on my list. Don't you think if money is cheap, then capital might go overseas? No. So first of all, interest rates coming down does not necessarily mean that money will get cheaper, or which would be, I think you're saying the dollar will go down. Doesn't necessarily mean that, although I think it is likely that the value of the dollar would go down. The value of the dollar is too high. But the value of the dollar going down relative to other countries makes us more competitive. So, like, some capital might go overseas. Well, I guess the other issue is that, like, capital going overseas, that's going to be like a relative thing, right? Oh, well, if their interest rates aren't as good as other places, then I want to put my money over in this country, right? But it kind of is still a situation of, like, America is still the best looking horse in the glue factory, you know? So I don't think that would necessarily be a huge problem. And I mean, really, if we're really... Most other countries are already reducing interest rates. I think that's the thing. So... really seems to me like market makers are just... Like, there is some market selling, but the market makers are just eating it and picking up lots of inventory. So... that either means that we're going to get another leg coming in here, or they're going to get screwed when it comes into the close. Kind of like they did yesterday, actually. You know what? Maybe I can just do this. I think actually the problem is so I'm still looking at this and I'm like, okay, so why doesn't this work and this work? I think that it's actually save to replay. Oh, that's right. It's not what I want. I want it to do the tick replay, but I don't want it to save and load the cache. Oh wait, is it doing that? And I'm just not paying attention. Okay. I see. So it's trying to load. I see. I thought it was loading the file because it was giving me this message that it was loading the file. But that's just it trying to load the file, and then it says, oh, I don't need to load the file, and it returns false. Durr. Okay, so that whole line of but the issue is still, I think, that the session iterator gets called twice, once to determine whether or not to load the file, and once to determine whether to reset the delta. I think AI hype is impacting the job market. There's a rush to overly rely on AI, probably. Like some companies are underinvesting in their workforce because of it. Like honestly, this Microsoft thing is really kind of shitty. So, what's going on? Well, Microsoft said yesterday that they're letting go underperformers, right? So most corporations do this already. Most places, it's like you have a review every year and you're judged by your peers. And some people can kind of game that, so like, you know, they try and make themselves look good and everybody else look bad and things like that. So just because you're considered a low performer does not necessarily mean that you are. Like, these systems are extremely imperfect, okay? And like, honestly, I feel that what they're doing is that they're taking a system that was designed to encourage performance amongst traders and trading desks and sales jobs, and they're trying to apply it to everybody else, and it just doesn't work because you don't have the same kind of like objective metrics that you can judge people by. Okay, my understanding is that Microsoft doesn't necessarily do that, but that they are letting people go that were low performers, but then they were saying it's because the jobs were eliminated. Okay, but the thing that's shitty about it is that they're putting out this big press release and telling everybody that they're letting these people go because they think that it will boost their stock price. Oh yeah, and they're not giving them severance. So in a situation like that, you would normally get severance. Any other company, you would get severance. If you've worked there for a year, it's just, or well, I don't know about a year, but if you've worked there for a long enough time, you probably get severance. So like, them not doing it is pretty shitty. Like, I would kind of avoid working at Microsoft because of that now. Except for that, the problem is that that's happening everywhere. So yeah, companies are like jumping over each other to see who can treat their workforce bad. And why would they think that they can do that? Well, I think that it's because they seem to think that artificial general intelligence is around the corner and that they don't have to treat their workers well. So the long-term impact of it doesn't matter. Or maybe they're just not thinking of it and they're just trying to boost the stock price. It could be that as well. But it really is just like this race to see who can treat the workforce the worst. And at some point, I do think that you're gonna like create a recession from it. I just don't see how you can like decimate the one what do we call it? The one class of people in this country that are actually doing well, and that not like destroy the economy, you know? Like, especially in an economy that's almost entirely based on consumer spending. And the thing that worries me the most about it is that you're not really going to realize, you're not going to see it in the top line numbers until it's too late. By the time they go and they look at, you know, the job, well, I don't know, maybe this Friday's number will be bad and that'll be like, hey, maybe we can reduce interest rates in March. Otherwise, I think people like me are screwed, man. Like, I go on Reddit and I read lots of stories. Most of the stories are like way worse than mine. Most of these stories are like they've been looking for a year and they haven't found a job. They've applied to way more jobs than me. The number of jobs that have come back and they've interviewed are way less than me. So like, I have it okay. But I also think that most of these people are kids that are just coming out of school. And juniors can't get jobs. Okay. What about how many of those 3,000 employees at Microsoft that were let go? How many of them have children? How many of them have mortgages? Right? Can those people last a year? I don't think I can last a year. Well, I guess I can last a year by withdrawing from my 401k, from my savings. Thanks. So now it would screw me over for retirement. It's just, it's really an awful situation, and everybody's just kind of looking the other way because it's like, well, I'm fine. And then if it does end up pulling the economy down, they'll be like, I saw it the whole time. No, you didn't. burying your head in the sand like everybody else. So that's why I feel really strongly that really the best thing that could happen to us right now is lower interest rates. Why? Why do I need to cover it? I don't understand. Don't you want to wait and see if they bust the high? Come on. Okay, well they busted it by 1 tick. Four lots went into O2. Oh, there you go. Build your trading view strategies using okay. But what is it actually doing? It better not be like there's a moving average and all this sort of stuff. You kind of got to be a little bit skeptical about the performance of it because the S&P 500 is up super big today, right? So like anything that's going long will have made money, and not necessarily alpha, right? Like if I think that maybe ChatGPT might be able to make a statistical arbitrage strategy for you, but then you wouldn't be holding it still, right? So okay, so we're gonna get Bostic. I didn't realize that. That kind of makes it more like maybe we should be taking some of it off. But I still feel like being a degenerate. Remember, it's just a sim trade, right? So I have one strategy modeled after the gravitational pulls of the sun and Jupiter. What? I feel like my brain is too fried to talk about this right now. That should do it. It might cause other problems, but I would think that that should do it. Yes. How far up do you think stop orders from shorts on ZN beyond 109 even are? Oh, who knows? I don't have any kind of data to tell me what that would tend to be. Maybe we could, if we had market by order data and we could see stops being triggered, and then we could do a study. Are there more stop orders after a large number? And like, what is the distribution of them? But I'm thinking more from a perspective of volatility, right? Like the longer that I keep it open, the more volatility that I'm exposing myself, the greater the chance that the greater amount I can make. So, you know, if I can stay on an uptrend and I can hold it till tomorrow, then that's optimal, right? I think what I need to do to fix this is another one of those things where like I kind of have to split it out and not try to get like one set of if statements and everything that works for all of the cases, but rather split each particular case out. So at the very beginning, do this session iterator check and set variables that tells me whether or not the session has been reset or not, and then pass those into the sub methods that deal with this. I'm not... Okay, sportsbook check, but how does it perform over a 5-year time period? I really don't... It really doesn't matter how much it's up today. I kind of feel like that every time you guys are like really like, you really should take the profits on this set. Those are the ones that keep going. Are you trying to impress me? It's cute. It's cute, but I'm married. I don't know. You can only go back 3 years. Oh. But in Ninja Trader, you can go back further, yeah? Or you will be able to go back further. You haven't done it in Ninja Trader yet. I mean, we're rolling into some significant liquidity now. I mostly just want to keep this. Oh, well, hold on. I didn't have the thing turned on. Hold on. There we go. No, it doesn't show the open. Oh wait, why doesn't it show the open one? Oh, because I have to change this to be day, because it's Tuesday. Okay, there we go. Yay! But here's the thing now that I'm thinking is that, like, we're getting into the thick of yesterday's action. So, how high, you know, we could go all the way at 08 wouldn't be out of the question. $217 over 3 years. Yeah, but that's a trading. I don't trust trading view back tests, Chad. I honestly, I don't think I've ever seen a back test in trading view that didn't look good, that didn't look profitable. Like I only did this one time, but like I was messing around with some VWAP indicator or something like that, and I was like, okay, so what if it was like a built-in strategy? So it's like you go long and then you go short, and like the performance of it was amazing. I'm like, there's no way. So then I went into NinjaTrader and duplicated it in NinjaTrader, and it was dismal. And I forget why, but it was basically the trading view. The strategy was cheating the trading view. The trading view backtester. Okay, so now that I've had a little bit of time to think about it, so let's review what happened. Uzi's been having some trouble where he's noticing some things in cumulative delta that NinjaTrader provides that don't look right to him. And the big one was that it doesn't seem to be resetting at the start of the session if tick replay is turned on. So then I said, oh, well, I wonder if my indicator has that problem. And it did. But when I really dove into it, the reason that my indicator had that problem is because I basically checked the session iterator twice. So if you try and do it twice, then it doesn't work properly. Because it's an iterator, essentially. So the reason that my indicator has the problem is probably different from why NinjaTraders might have the problem. Because they're probably only, I have to check it once for the to determine if I need to try and load the next days of cache data, and then a second to determine if it should be reset there. But NinjaTrader only needs to do it once to determine when it's a new session to reset it. So that does not explain why NinjaTraders has a problem. It could be because they're doing the check every tick instead of just the first tick of the bar. Could be that. Either way, I think what we need to do is we need to find somebody else that has the NinjaTrader version of the indicators. I have a license, but it doesn't work with Rhythmic data, so that's why I don't use it. We need to give somebody that has it and see if they can duplicate it to determine if it's really a bug in NinjaTrader's code or if it has something to do with Uzi's data and setup and things like that. But very curious. And like this trade has worked out okay. Like we could close out maybe most of it, but well, actually, let's take the 5 off. So we probably should close the stream down. I need to apply for jobs. I can program some things. Maybe I can program a fix for this that's a little bit more serious. Okay, took it off. So now they would really have to come back to take the profits for January negative. Is there something else going on today? It is a little bit odd to have a move that late. That's Bostic. That's Dally. Earnings. Oh boy. Maybe I should just take the whole thing off. Alright, you know what? Let's not play this game where we hold it between sessions. Let's just close it out here this session. And now that we've played that game, I'm kind of thinking maybe we should stick to 4 contracts. No, actually, this doesn't make sense. Yeah, I think 10 works. Like, if the Combine let you do 10, I would probably pass the Combine all the time. About 5 contracts, stops up allowing 15, and if you reach 10... No, but not on the base one. I would only still want it to stay on a base account. Basically, it would need to be a funded trader that gives you different leverage, or that gives you a different amount of contracts allowed on Xeon versus other instruments. Okay, there we go. Now, this is one of those things where the position window in NinjaTrader is a little funky. You have to refresh it in order for it to show you the correct values. Well, we've made it profitable again. I mostly did that because, like, yesterday I was serious, like, okay, this is where I want to take risk and all of these sorts of things. I wasn't serious enough about it, and I didn't want that to, like, screw up the record. So it was like, I should scale it up and everything, but like before I was doing like maybe 3 contracts sometimes, and I should do like 5. So let's switch it to 5, managing 5 contracts, and work on that for a little while. Well, I don't look about like how much you take on average and all that. I mean, you get what you get. So this is a big paradigm shift, and I'm not 100% sure about this, but I am starting to look at it more in terms of time rather than ticks. So I want to expose myself to a certain amount of time in the market. Because if I say, like, I'm only, I want X ticks and I only want X ticks against me, then I limit the amount of time that I can be in the market. And then your gains are going to be less overall. That's kind of what I found. is like you do better if you say take a trade, stay in it for 30 minutes, than you do take a trade and have like a stop and a target at 16 or whatever. Because basically you get this distribution, and if I'm cutting them off like that, kind of ruins. And then really your profits have to do with how big is this side compared to this side, right? But when you give yourself, when you expose yourself for a certain amount of time, then you really get the opportunity to get a distribution that looks like this, where like when you do win, you win like so massively huge. And hopefully there should still be a cutoff on this side. Right? So when you guys were all saying, oh, we should close it, I was still thinking, well, I think I can wait until the end of the session, if not longer. I guess I kind of got lucky in that case that it went much higher, but it's interesting, isn't it? I don't know, guys. You know, something that I'm struggling with. I hope that you guys don't find this depressing or like discouraging, but I've kind of come to this spot where it's like, you know, trading it and winning at it, it doesn't mean anything. Like, I think everybody thinks that, oh, if I can master the market, then that must mean that I'm a valuable member of society, all of these sorts of things, right? I've kind of come to the conclusion that it just doesn't effing matter. We're all chasing this idea of like what's going to be valuable to society that doesn't mean jack squat. Like what does it matter? I had all of these great jobs at great companies. I made a good salary. I was well above most of my peers, you know, and I was in the top percentage of whatever's and earners and all of these things. And I've shown that I can do valuable work and everything. And then the company can just kind of summarily decide all of the sudden that you're worthless and you can't get in anywhere. Right? I'm not like one of these lazy people I'm like one of the most hardworking, driven people you're going to meet. I feel very strongly about doing your most excellent work all the time. I've had to struggle a lot with ADHD and being productive, and I've just gotten really, really good at it, and I can turn out so much more than my peers. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And so then we come in and we think, oh, well, but I'm going to prove myself with the market. No, you're not. Because the market can just come around tomorrow and just completely screw you over. You catch that fat towel that you were never expecting, and it completely wipes out everything that you've done before. Right? I don't think that mastering the market necessarily speaks well of you. I kind of think that the people that have made the most from the market, what it really means is that you are a degenerate gambler and stubborn and, you know, just, and why were you doing it in the first place? Because I really think that the people that are most successful in life, that they have better things to do than to day trade. So I don't feel like that having success with the market says anything about me or you or anybody else. It's what the market is more interesting in and of itself to me than anything about like what your success says on it. And so of course I want to be the best trader that I possibly can, but the number just doesn't matter. I just don't care. And so I'm getting to this point now where sometimes I feel like you guys are more invested in the trade than I am. Trading, well, I do believe that trading benefits society. You have to have people that understand the value of things. It's just that the market does that very poorly. Right? The market does that particular part very poorly. So, but somebody has to do it. Like, It's just the whole thing doesn't work if there's not somebody doing it. So anyways, if you haven't watched the video on the cost basis, if you're using Ninja, maybe just not enough of you guys are using Ninja Trader. I think I need to tap into more of the Ninja Trader audience, I guess, with some of the videos, but it doesn't say anything about Ninja Trader. Oh, maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe that's what I should do. I should come into YouTube. Oh, I got a bunch of comments that I haven't even noticed. In Ninja Trader 8, save. Hopefully that'll bring in more Ninja Trader people. No, most of those were ones that I already looked at. There's one person that's like, how do you calculate the cost basis to begin with? And I'm like, that's what I was trying to tell you in the video. Granted, it's a little bit vague, so I didn't like pull the thing out and say, okay, you got like a footprint and you got like all these numbers. And then you start at the bottom and you say, okay, I added one inventory, but then I was able to take one off, so I'm still net 0 here. And then I added 9 and I took 6 off, so there's a net 3 here. And then after all of that, I take the average of it and get my price. That's how you're getting it. But that would be too complicated for a YouTube video, but that's what it's doing essentially. It's just counting the orders. Oh, how do you share your code for review? You join Discord. So there's 2 Discord links in the video description. The first one is like the free Discord that it's really not my Discord. I just run it, but it's a general futures trading Discord, so you can find me there and you can message me there. There's also a $3 Discord that kind of helps you get away from the spam, and so I'm posting a lot more content over there. So let's see here. Repetition isn't about mindlessly doing the same thing over and over. It's an art of learning from every single mistake and refining your approach with each attempt until progress becomes inevitable. I guess I was getting at something earlier and I didn't really hit the note. Can I try again? I think that people are driven to trade because, you know, like we hold this markets in such high esteem, and so I think if you must be really smart if you figure out the markets, and I think that to some degree I sit here and I'm like, I'm informed, I know what's going on. That makes me really smart. People tell me I'm really smart, though, and all the time, and like my main conclusion that I've come from this experience is that really doesn't matter. And what society thinks of you doesn't really matter. Because it can all be taken away so easily. You realize how vapid and made up it all is. And I kind of feel that having success in the markets requires you to understand that to some degree, or to not care about that to some degree. Because like I said, success in trading doesn't necessarily speak well of you. Because for starters, why were you trading to begin with? Sportsbook Chad says, I've been driven to it since I was a kid. Okay, cool. Then go and get a finance degree and go and trade for a big bank. Why didn't you do that? Why didn't you go to an Ivy League, So like the people that are doing this professionally and making the money, it's a completely different, right? For most of us, like, why were we driven to day trade? Because we didn't know any better. Mostly we didn't know any better. Maybe we made mistakes earlier along the way. Oh, looks like it's going to keep going, huh? And if you're successful with it, what does that say about you? That you are persistent in the face of overwhelming odds that really make absolutely zero sense to go through? And frankly, like, if you do have success, the stats that I have is that out of every 6 people that are successful traders, that only 3 of them actually have an edge and are successful in the longer term, like are successful over a 10-year period. So if you look at a 5-year period, only 6 people are profitable. And if you look at a 10-year period, only 3 people are profitable. So success in retail day trading kind of probably means that you're a degenerate gambler. And once you realize that, then it kind of opens the door to some of the things that do make you profitable. Or, you know, I'm doing stupid things here. I'm taking risks that are kind of ill-advised. I'm not sure that I would do it with a live account. Unless well, you know what? The main reason I wouldn't do it with my live account is because then it's like, well, but then, you know, how would I keep the stream going? But if it was a large enough account and everything, it would probably be fine. We do it. Attract all of these people. Just as long as everybody understands that the way that I'm doing it is by doing some really degenerate shit, right? And that's what I was kind of getting at. Is that once you get over this, well, we want society to look good at me, look well upon our results, and not. Once you stop caring about that, then you start to see the things that actually make money. Oh, you went to Berkeley, but struggled with econ and didn't have the self-belief to really compete. Oh, really? That's interesting. I wish that I had tried to get into an Ivy League, and I don't know at the time if I had applied to Ivy League schools, if I would have gotten in, but I had good grades and everything, so, like, it's possible. Would have had to have been a very different life path, because I think at the time, I really just wanted to get off ADHD medications because it hurt me socially. But, you know, I wouldn't have been able to compete at an Ivy League school without the medication. Okay. Now I'm really gonna go. I got out. It looked like we were gonna go higher for a second, but they didn't. But I'm happy with the results today. I you know, how much we made on it, like, again, it doesn't really matter. But I'm happy that I made a big bet on something, and it was a good call. I really had some good reasons to think that the number was going to be weak, and I was correct. So that's what I'm happy with. My results. Am I getting better at this thing? All right. I'm gonna get going. I'll see you tomorrow. Stay excellent, team.